apparently still haven't figured out what's wrong with my cameras and why they don't load quickly. But either way,
More
hey,
dramatic this way.
dramatic. Have to do it that way. Hi, I'm Lizzie. We're the Zedless Night Gaming. We're playing Hedge tonight, so let's go ahead and launch in. Yeah, let's do this. The past few days at your holdfast have been quiet. Not peaceful, never peaceful, but quiet in that way that the world gets when it's too tired to scream. The storm raging outside has been relentless, hammering the building's bones with wind and rain, but inside, you've managed to keep the worst of it at bay. There's a rhythm to the way the water drips through the cracks, a pattern to the groaning of metal in the walls. Even the flickering emergency lights have their own pounding beat. It's not safety, but it is something. You've scavenged what you could, stitched together shelter from what was left behind, and found your corners in the dark to rest, to think, to try and feel human again. The holdfast isn't home, but for now, it's where you return. It's the only place that remembers you back. Night. What part of this place have you claimed for yourself, and why that spot?
It's odd. There is a section in the middle of a couple of the platforms. It's fairly out and exposed. And there's not much there other than a bench and sort of a makeshift blanket draped into some kind of a little tent lean-to operation. And not that anyone knows this or would have any reason to, but there was a time when there was a busker, a sidewalk entertainer, who would play in this spot every day when people were passing to and from their jobs and their homes. And this was his lucky spot. This was the spot that always seemed to generate a little extra cash on a cold night. And all of that is gone, but maybe a little bit of that luck still remains. So this is my spot now.
What have the past few days looked like for you?
Starless is not happy when things are quiet. He's not good at being relaxed or, steady. So he's spends a lot of time when he gets up just kind of restlessly walking the halls and the tunnels. He doesn't go up to the surface that often because he makes people up there unhappy. But he's looking for something. He doesn't know what it is. Maybe it's just a sign of trouble or something he can do, or maybe he just needs to get away for a while. But he just does a lot of wandering. Rarely says anything to anyone when he leaves or he comes back. But that's his thing, is just going for a walk.
Torch. What sound do you listen for at night when sleep doesn't come?
I think it's probably just the constant back of his head sound of, does he hear vines? Does he hear roots? Um, he constantly worries that there's going to be nature intrusion that is going to destroy yet another bit of sanctuary. And so I think he even hears it when it's not there. Just that in the still and the quiet, nights like this when there's rain helps because it's a little white noise to occupy the brain. But otherwise, it's just the scrape and scrabble of tiny infinitesimal movements of plant life and time.
And what have you been up to for the past few days?
I spend most of my time trying to keep my hands busy. So I walk around, much like with my kind of OCD nature of the keeping this place free of intrusion. I spend a lot of times walking the perimeters, running my hands over the rock work, the bricks, and just trying to make sure that everything is good. Because if I don't keep my hands busy, then my I'm constantly just scratching at my chest. And in a world where medical supplies are not really a thing, he always worries that, he's going to scratch a little too deep and, you know, open himself up to infection or something that would make things worse for everybody.
Bastion, pardon my fire engines outside.
It's set dressing.
Sorry. Living as soon as it happens. Bastion, what do you find yourself hoping for when you know better?
Um, the Bastion spends most of his time worried about the people that we're sort of here to protect in the first place. And there's always hope in his mind that today won't be the day that he has to bury someone. And has made sort of makeshift, best he can, graveyard up where everyone else is, and has this hope that he doesn't have to take care of someone that way.
Oh, we got Mushy back.
I was not able to hear our lovely Bastion, and his chapter was not on screen for me. I think it's important to be able to hear one of the group.
Perfect. Bastion, what have you been doing for the past few days?
In the best, most positive way possible, skulking. The Bastion has been kind of moving as shadow-like as his features will allow him to, trying to make sure that there, even in moments where there is no intrusion from the other side of the hedge, he is constantly on edge, trying to make sure that there is nothing breaking through, despite how ominous he looks.
I would agree with that. Ember, what small comfort have you built or found to hold on to? Something that makes you feel real?
Probably little lights and trinkets and things that she's found, and small enough that it doesn't really take up much room on her person, but it still grounds her to what was, and hopefully what will be.
And tell me about your past few days.
Just like the others, she can't sit still. And she'd much rather be out doing something, so she picks through buildings and rubble to see if there's anything useful, to their survival, or, just another little trinket that she can pocket.
Perfect. That brings us all together to our downtime. So while you guys have been back in your holdfast, securing, resting, recuperating, whatever it is you've been filling your time with. There are a couple of different options. So we discussed it a little bit before we got started this evening, but there are a few different things you can do during your downtime. You can commune, you can consult, you can patrol, you can shepherd, scavenge, or scout, and all of these give you different options depending on what you're doing. So let's go around to each of you and see how you are spending your downtime. What would you like to do, friends? Come on, Mushy.
I want to scavenge.
Scavenge. Beautiful. What are you looking for? Anything in particular?
No, just having a look. I can't think of anything in particular at the moment.
That is absolutely fine. You set out into the city to scavenge. For me a d6, please.
That's why I wanted it. I can roll dice.
Let's
I've not
roll some
rolled dice in far too
dice.
long. 3.
3. So you brave the dangers out there and you return with just a few meager treasures. So we're going to add 1 tick to our supply clock. Well done. The rest of you?
I ain't scared. I think given that,
You would.
yeah, exactly. Given that Starless is spending a lot of time out there walking anyway, I think he's just going to take some time, probably after dark, go up into the streets and into the sort of edges of the settlement where the green has been taking over and patrol.
Excellent. You spend some time meandering about. Roll me the d6, please.
That's a 6.
Oh, a 6. Beautiful. So you win just a few moments of reprieve for your hearth. So we're going to take and remove a tick from our doom clock, and the GM, that's me, yay, may not roll to tick this clock after the next incursion. So when you all finish that, no ticks.
Yeah, I think I just see some elements of some tendrils getting a little bit too close and send something going there and just basically ruthlessly hack it all out.
As you do. Weird ecosystems. All right, Bastion, Torch.
I believe that I'm gonna take some time and try and commune with the hedge.
Excellent. So you're going to try and reach out to the hedge. What are you looking to connect with it for?
Any kind of guidance whatsoever. As of right now, our last fight was a bit not to risk incurring the wrath of our GM. Not easy,
Say it.
but the final boss being all of us in shadow form, it's a little terrifying. So a little bit of guidance from the hedge that, you know, we're the only followers of currently.
The
Would be
only
nice.
ones. Let's roll a d6. And if you get a 5 or a 6, then you will generate a devotion to be achieved on your next incursion.
That's a 2, so not a 5 or
A
a 6.
2. So unfortunately, you just can't quite make the connection that you're wanting to. It feels like the hedge is far away at the
So-
moment.
The way I was reading this, and I could be wrong, so I'm not that familiar with
Yes.
the system, is that it changes the odds of you generating a devotion when you do the thing. I think it's when you roll those dice, you get a 5 or 6. I don't think it's an extra roll, but I've been wrong before.
What was the extra roll from? Sorry.
Increases the chance of getting a devotion on the next incursion if one warden communes. Devotions are
Devotions generated.
generated on a 5 or 6, and so
Yeah.
on.
And I thought that was the thing that the GM did when we were doing an incursion. But again,
It might.
it doesn't
I'll fidget
functionally
with it.
matter. Okay.
I will fidget with it and see what we can do before our next
Fair enough.
incursion. But no 5 or 6.
Incursions, we get a devotion if the GM rolls a 6. Just given that I have rolled, or I have communed, that means when we go on an
Be a
incursion,
5 or 6,
if
yeah.
you roll a 5 or a 6.
When you
So
go.
that 2 didn't mean anything.
Mhm.
Hooray!
Okay.
It always
Hooray
means
for
something.
poor dice rolls.
Always means something. Roll those dice, my friends. Torch, how are you spending your time?
I think that I am going to go out and I I feel like I've been around um, the Bastion and everybody else long enough that I kind of know some of their at least exterior thought processes and motivations. Um, and I know the reactions that a lot of them get from what few survivors exist. Um, so being the young, still quasi youthful appearing member of the group, I think I will go out and attempt to shepherd to see if I can find anybody else to bring back.
Any stragglers? Any survivors? Excellent. Let's roll a d6.
That is a 5.
A 5.
Nice.
So, you guide survivors that you find back to your hearth, and we're going to add 1 tick to our people clock.
And now we have the supplies to cover it. which we wouldn't
Yes,
have
you
earlier.
do.
Oh, nice.
Looking very
Working
good.
together without even having to say anything.
It's like you just inherently knew how to get along with each other. Excellent. Sorry, I have to push buttons. There's so many all the time. And then you push the wrong ones and it opens things. Stop it. I don't know how to do technology. I'm in the
We'll
wrong
get you a
field.
producer.
I know. Please, somebody hire somebody for me. Anyway. All righty. So you all head out into the city in search of your various activities. You all begin to split apart from each other, and the storm hits fast. No warning, no pattern, just a sky turned dark and wind sharp enough to peel skin from bone. You all quickly reconvene and duck into a shelter, half ruined and water streaked. Not a place to keep you safe, but maybe not as dangerous as it is outside. Somewhere above, the wind pulls at the twisted rebar with a shriek. The rain rattles down. The city presses close to you. Amber, as you take shelter from the storm, what detail stands out to you that hints at what this building used to be?
Sort of medical signs up on the walls, and waiting chairs, and sort of a wheelchair that's sort of been tipped over and abandoned in the corner, and the wind now and then catching the wheel, sending it spinning.
You reach out a hand to spin the wheel and notice tucked onto the seat, folded with care, edges worn soft, ink faded. It shouldn't be here, but it's real in your hands, or at least it feels that way. Paper, words, a voice that you almost recognize. It says, "I hope this finds you well. I meant to write sooner, but you know how it is. The mornings have been quieter than usual. Nothing to report, really. Things are moving along. Might see some rain next week. Oh, and there's talk of a new exhibit opening soon. I'm sure it'll be the usual crowd, as always. Nothing too remarkable, but then it never really is. Take care of yourself. I'll write again soon. There's no signature, no date, no address, but it feels familiar, like something from before the city shifted, when time still moved in straight lines and letters came with the ability to return. You don't know who it's for, what it's for. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's to remind you of what's been lost. What would you like to do with this, Ember?
She takes it and she's very ginger with it. Almost that if she holds it wrong, that, maybe she'll accidentally set it alight, or it'll suddenly disappear like it was just a fragment of her imagination after all. And she tucks it in her shirt next to her heart, just in case it was for her. But then if it's not, well, at least the person will know that when if she does find them, that it was taken care of and not just abandoned.
Okay. Who do you wish this letter was from?
An old friend that I probably miss dearly, someone that I've known for a long time. Probably had a crush on at one point.
Would you like to share this piece of paper with the rest of your companions?
Nope, for now she'll keep it for herself.
Okay. You tuck it into a fold of your clothing and you blink and the world shudders. Trees made of rusted scaffolding loom overhead. Vines of glowing fiber optic cable pulse with sickly light. Moss creeps over shattered machines. Birds chirp in the distance, but their notification tones looped and broken. A figure flickers between the trunks, antlers of twisted wire, eyes blazing with artificial blue light. It moves in glitching frames, limbs stuttering forward unnaturally. Its hand rests on a ruined drone, which jerks to life, trembling. Others crawl from the soil, half machine, half rot, wings stitched from circuitry and dead leaves. The figure turns. You're not supposed to be here, and the world lurches, static screeches, and you're back. But that ringing hasn't stopped.
Sort of, you know how sometimes you get the ring in the air, so you put your finger in the air and go da-da, and then like tap your ear and that to try and do that, and it's doing that to try and get the ring out of her ear. It's not even been for long, and it's already driving her insane, and she's already too freaked out by whatever that thing was. So she's sort of moving to leave while she's doing that, going, nope, not today.
It seems the more that you fight it, the louder it becomes.
Are you all right?
There's no just a ringing. There's I can't hear the ringing. La 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 la.
Except you can.
I was
Is
essentially
the,
just trying to gaslight herself into not believing it's there.
Is the rain still coming down as harshly?
Absolutely. And it almost seems that the wind rips through the cracks in the stone and the cement and tears through your clothes. It almost feels like it is knives cutting straight across your skin.
Do you think you could withstand this ringing until the weather quiets itself?
I sort of stood at the doorway, just not dealing well with this. Rain outside. She's never been a fan of the rain, even before it's been like this. And she's getting more and more visibly frustrated with the ringing, and then just shouts out, "Enough with the ringing!" And she's just seemingly mad, and face is contorted in anger.
I suppose I will look around to see if I can find anything that would cause the ringing. I've not been told about the weird vision yet, so I'm gonna try and see if there's any kind of power that's going through here that would cause ringing or anything. Just kind of tearing through anything that I think would cause it.
I don't see any physical anything that could be causing this.
I think at this point, Starless kind of rises from where he's been sitting or squatting or whatever, kind of goes over to Ember, without saying anything, as is his way, and just kind of takes his big black night cloak and sort of, if they allow it, just sort of brings it around Emberheart and just tries to shelter them a little bit from the rain and maybe the noise, and just kind of provide a little bit of isolation from whatever's going on out there.
She lets him, and she tries to calm herself within it, but is still frustrated. And is the ringing still happening?
It is, and it's almost turned into a pulsing in order to increase its effect on your mind. And those words that you read whip through your mind again and again and again.
She's gentle when she does it, but she pushes Starless away and moves away, and she pulls out the letter, and can I do that? Move to the right thing.
And Starless, lets her go as soon as she wants to move.
She wants to just summon some of the fire and just light the paper up.
What color is your flame?
It's warm orange with sort of blue at the center.
It's almost as if the flame is ripped from your hand and whipped around this piece of paper, and it becomes this sickly sort of green before it seems as if the smoke itself turns to, or the flame itself turns to smoke and ash. And you're still left with this piece of paper in your hand.
She, as soon as the flames grow green, she's immediately dropping it and moving away. Yeah, no, that's not normal, that's not right. Can things not do this today?
Not normal, you say? Crazy.
She knows her flames, what they're quote unquote normally like. Green is not that colour. And sort of just moves over and then sort of just picks the letter up and throws it out into the rain, hoping that maybe the rain will fuck it up. If she can't fuck it up, she's just done with this bit of paper and hoping that the ringing goes away with it.
As soon as you release it from your hand, that pressure, that ringing is gone. And the silence that it leaves behind is almost more painful for just a moment before it kind of rushes back in and settles the general noise of the area. But that piece of paper, although it lies on the concrete under the pouring rain, stays completely dry.
That's a cursed bit of paper if I've ever seen one. I'm not dealing with that shit. Nope. Don't go near it. Don't pick it up if you want to hear the ringing. I'm so glad I got rid of the ringing. It's just glaring at it from the doorway.
The paper caused the ringing.
Maybe, I don't know. When I had it on me, there was the ringing, got stronger and stronger, and then it was like pulsing. I tried to burn the paper, and my flames are green. My flames are not green. They're orange with a bit of blue, and that's them being green is not normal, and the paper was completely fine. My fire burned through a lot of stuff. It didn't burn through the paper. As soon as I threw the paper into the raining stopped. But the paper is fucking dry! Look at it! And she's pointing aggressively doing this at the bit of paper.
Perhaps we should hold more to the center of the building and away from the cursed paper.
I don't hear
At
the
least
ringing
until the rain dies down.
now. I'm gonna watch the bit of paper in case anything is drawn to it. It sort of sits down cross-legged with a thump on the floor. Like a salty child.
It didn't
Stupid
work.
paper.
I don't like paper.
Yep.
Torch, what have you been doing during all of this?
As soon as we came into this space and we looked around it slightly, he found a corner behind a little crumbled bit of half wall. And he has just sunk down behind that wall, wrapped himself up in his, with his knees pulled up to his chest, just trying to make himself as protected as he can from the wind and what might be coming through, just in a moment of just pure survival mode. He knows that it's just a matter of time. It'll either go away or it will get worse. But whatever it is, both of those things happen in the future, so he just hunkers down and waits for it.
Would anyone else like to do anything while we wait for the storm to pass?
I think while searching for whatever was causing the buzzing, the Bastion had noticed the torch kind of making a little nest for himself, not thinking that he'll need his shield at this current moment. Will walk over and just kind of wedge it between a part of the fallen wall to have more of a bit of cover for the torch as he's nesting himself. And just kind of not really acknowledge it, but just look at him, nod, and continue. I think at this point, literally tearing like panels off of the wall, trying to see if there's wiring or something.
And Starless, I think, when, other than when this interruption with the paper happened, tends to just sort of hunker down by the edge of the wall and just sit there with his eyes closed, It almost looks like he's sleeping, but he's not. He's listening.
Excellent. Is anybody paying close attention to this small scrap of paper?
Yes. Eyes are laser focused on the bit of paper.
Okay.
I don't think the ember has let it leave their sight.
She's like a petulant child when they're annoyed at something and they're focusing on it, but they refuse to touch it.
I get that. Sounds like something I would do. Eventually, time passes and the storm doesn't completely pass, but it is quieter now. The kind of quiet that makes you realize how loud your thoughts have become. Wind slips through the bones of the building, dragging the wet scent of ozone in its teeth. The shadows in the corner are deeper than they were an hour ago. The light doesn't quite reach them. You think it's over. It isn't. Water seeps in thin lines across the floor, hesitant, searching. The stone seems to breathe, damp and cold. Somewhere far below, something groans. Old metal, maybe. Hard to tell. A drain gurgles, then silence, but not empty. And you can feel it now. Not eyes, not claws, but a tension. Something has begun to stir. And you all feel it calling you from that letter. What'd you like to do?
I think that the torch kind of, as he sees this water trying to creep across the floor, he's idly, like, got one hand, still has his right hand wrapped around his knees. His left hand is just kind of tapping a little rhythm on the inside of the bastion shield. And he's just sitting there, keeping his eyes on the water as it slowly creeps through, and just doing everything he can to keep his brain from veering off into panic. He's just trying to keep tangible connection and a controlled noise that he can generate that keeps his mind engaged in the moment. And
What does that controlled noise sound like?
it's, I think it's just a simple cadence. Um, he doesn't really know anybody's background from before all of this went down. But if anybody were to be of a military background, they would recognize like a drum cadence of just a very rhythmic, very specific set of sounds meant to align thoughts and emotions into a specific pattern. And it's just a simple, like, 4 bars of rhythm just repeated over and over and over again, uh, never varying in speed or volume. It's just constant and specific.
Okay. You attempt to go into that sort of meditative state with this beat again and again and again, watching this water creep, and it does creep slowly, almost imperceptibly, across the floor to you. And you notice at moments it looks like fingers stretching out, reaching across the floor, crawling towards you. Anyone else?
I think when there's that creaking sound from underground, we see Starless's eyes, snap open, those yellow lights in the darkness of his hood. And I think he just rises and goes over to look at the piece of paper in the rain, not touching it, but maybe he takes one of his long black knives and just uses it to hold the paper down so he can read it. And assuming it says the same thing it said before.
Yes.
Do I know of any place around here that used to be a gallery or a museum or something that would have new exhibits?
Interesting. When your blade first touches this piece of paper, you begin to hear a whisper just coming from somewhere behind you. You turn, it's not there. It's always behind you. Not quite sure what it is saying yet, but you tell me, do you know of a gallery or museum or something around here that would have had an exhibit before this?
I don't know, so I think if you don't mind, I'll make a bright roll
Absolutely.
and see if it's the kind of thing I might have known once upon a time. And that's a 5.
A 5. Okay. It's like, let me pull my stuff out again. Where are my notes?
Sorry, I'm using
No.
using mechanics in a role-playing scene and they work.
How dare you?
You're all fine. Just have to pass through a few things.
So
Yes, you know of the Legacy District that was here in Iridia, the city. It was very much the heart of the city's cultural and historical heritage. It's now buried beneath an expanse of Fey influence. In fact, it is one of the strongholds that the Fey have taken in the heart of this city.
so it's not especially near where we are now.
Not especially, no. It's definitely somewhere that you all have steered clear of thus far.
I think I'm going to go back in and sit down and just start scratching in the dirt on the floor or the wall with that same knife blade what I remember of what a map looked like if we were to try and get there.
A pretty decent little map. It's what you remember of how to get there from the last time you were there.
I think around this time, seeing the night go for the paper, the Bastion will turn and did you hear it too?
I shake my head.
No. We need to find whatever it is this paper is doing. If it affected Ember this much, then it has to have some sort of Fey working to it.
And I kind of look over at this little rough map I've scratched out, and I just take the point of the knife and just tap a spot that's in the center of that legacy district.
I suppose at this point he's talked about it but doesn't know what's going on, so the Bastion's going to go pick up the paper.
Okay. You give it a skim, looking over the words first time that you've seen it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
There something about the letter brings back the feeling of a place that no longer exists. Where was it? What did you lose there?
I think at one point the Bastion had a family before everything happened. And that is lost to him now. And there's something about the Legacy District that calls to that hole that he's felt.
You ruminate on that memory. It spins through your head a few times before kind of fading back into that foggy ether of memory that only really peeks its head up from time to time. Otherwise, it's a pretty mundane piece of paper.
I think out loud, he's gonna start thinking out loud and just go, we've tried burning it, but... and just try to rip it in half and see what happens.
It tears pretty easily in your hands, actually.
It just gets torn up. I think, yeah, at that, he's just going to go, you can't tear apart paper, I guess, and just toss it over his shoulder.
It's interesting because you rip it in half and then you pull it back together to rip it in half and you realize that you've just ripped it in half. And you put it back together and you go to rip it in half and it's still just two pieces of these paper. And no matter how many times you attempt to rip and tear, it's only these two pieces. And that's as far apart as you can get them.
Amber, like, her eyes never left that bit of paper no matter who was holding it. And she just points at it and goes, see, it's fucking weird.
This is what's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not the rest of what's going on.
She's gotten somewhat normalized to the rest of the bullshit. This is the new weird
New
thing
bullshit.
at the moment.
Yeah.
This is new
I'll take
bullshit.
the paper. I think I'll take the paper back in with us because
Okay.
the rain seems to be acting supernatural to whether or not the paper is inside the building or not.
Okay.
And just sort of, I guess, take stock of everything in here. Kind of, I don't want to say militantly, but in a very almost professional sense of things. He's keeping track, double checking that everyone is still here, no one is having any kind of episode or anything, that we're all stagnant at least, but he's keeping an eagle eye on everyone.
Are we headed back to our holdfast? Is that where we're going?
I believe so, if everyone's
Yeah, if we're
okay.
done.
Bastion's gonna go collect his shield and have an arm out for the torch.
Does he still have hold of the paper?
Yes. It's in his shield hand now, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think that the torch will kind of reluctantly like give the shield back, but he won't take the arm. He'll scrabble himself back up and kind of dust himself off and
Dust your shoulders off?
thank you for the protection.
All right, you all come
He's
together, begin to make your way back to your holdfast in the remnants of this storm. And I think that's a good moment for us to take a break. So, we'll be back in 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bum bum bum.
we are here. I just haven't. I don't know why my cameras do that. I'm gonna figure out how to fix it eventually. All right, you all had waded out to the storm in this shelter, and eventually, once the rain had broken enough to give you at least a little bit of reprieve, you started heading back to your holdfast. And as you all make your way down these familiar streets, you've walked them countless times, this shortcut that you've always taken is gone. There is a new alley that is opened up, and it looks like it does make its way back in the direction of your holdfast, but it's twisting longer. There are street signs that are blank, that are backwards. You swear that's the same intersection that you've gone through 3-4 times now? What would you like to do?
I think we're
at this
lost.
point- Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I think we're lost.
Oh, you think we're lost? I think at this point, yeah, my shield has just come around and is in front, and the Bastion has taken more of a formal spot at the front of everyone.
So, about how long has it taken us to come back to the same intersection?
Oh, maybe 7-8 minutes since the last time you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least somewhere that resembles this.
Mm-hmm.
Do we find another way back, take the longer route, or risk what's in front of us?
Is there enough structure at the mouth of this new alleyway for that I could be able to like gray squirrel my way up the wall to try to get up onto a higher vantage point?
You can most certainly try. Let's do a hauling yourself up a wall. Let's do a might. Looks at us doing rolls tonight.
So that's just have 1 point, but that's a 6.
Nice.
Hey, very nice. Yeah, you do manage to pull yourself up quite easily. And you can see your holdfast. You can know where you're going. If you follow this alley, it's going to take you right there. You swear you closed the door when you left.
It looks like there's trouble back home. The door's open. I'm going
That's
to try.
just what today needs.
I'm going to try to stay up here as long as I can, because I can see the holdfast from here. We are on the right direction.
Went forward it is. We have little time to spare.
All right. I nod and start heading forward.
Okay.
And I'm very cognizant as much as I can of whenever we get to any intersections or turns or twists, sort of, making a point to look back, see where I came from, see if everything looks right, try and figure out where this discrepancy is happening.
Yeah, I'd say now that you are aware, turning to look in every direction and making sure that you are steadily moving forward, you do find yourself at the door of your holdfast. It's just slightly ajar. It doesn't look like it had any violence done to it. Hasn't been kicked in. Hasn't been blown off. It's just open.
I think I'm fully barging in just as soon as we get to it. Like, there's no time to waste. I need to make sure everything's fine.
Okay. You head down the stairs into the station, and you find everything the way that you left it. People inside going about their business, tending to their usual activities. Doesn't look like there's been any disturbance. There's a slight smell of ozone, something metallic slightly in the air, and the ground feels damp. But other than that, it looks just the way you left it.
Around the town area where we have our survivors grouped, there's some sort of like vantage point that the Bastion has found himself to be able to watch and get a good view of what people are doing, and is going to go there just to make sure, like looking at everyone, seeing if anything, and just keeping like a full eye on our survivors to see if anything's strange about them.
Okay. Let's do a bright roll. Yes? Yeah. Let's
Bright
do
roll?
it. Bright. I agree.
That's definitely the one that I have the highest in, and it's definitely not a 0.
So if you have 0,
Just roll 2 6s. It's fine.
Right, roll
Exactly.
2. Take the lowest. You
got
said 2.
Dice don't fail me now. That is no shit 2 5s.
Hey.
Not 2 6s,
You're
but
lucky best.
I'll
take
take it.
Yeah. Excellent. You take your vantage point to look over the now familiar patterns of this place as people go about the same routine day after day after day. It's what keeps this place functioning, what keeps it running. You're very familiar with it. And everything seems to be moving just fine until it seems to glitch and just shift for a moment right back to itself.
Did we all notice that this time, or was it just the
This
Bastion?
one would be Bastion. As he touches into his connection to the hedge.
gonna come back down to everyone if everyone is still grouped or not.
That's up to you guys.
Is everyone still?
Yeah, I've
grouped
just
up? Are we
been
doing our own thing?
standing at the foot of the stairs leading back to the door, staring at the door.
Bastion has the paper, so Ember's staring at Bastion.
I don't believe we're actually home.
What happened?
Something's wrong. They're acting as if nothing has happened, but it's wrong. I was looking at them and the world moved.
How?
It's like a recording glitch. It moved.
Bastion, you hear behind you. It's almost like the world moved. How?
Did you all hear that?
No. Okay, right. But you said it moved, and right. So
And I heard echoes of our conversation. Something is not correct.
it's
We're
linked
not here.
to that damned paper. It's
I don't
linked.
think we're really here.
It's linked to that fucking paper, right? So I've managed to focus a bit. Okay, so when I had the paper, obviously there was like that ringing that I hate, right? But there was like this guy, and he was like, either you're not supposed to be here, or the paper's not supposed to be here, and he was a bit electronic-y, I think, and he didn't look right. He was weird. He was like a deer man thing, but it was all from that fucking paper, and we've had that, and you carried that paper with us.
Lizzie, I would like to try to establish a little backstory thing that might be relevant here.
Let's do it.
So, part of the premise I had for Starless is that, one of the questions is always, what did you give up to become a hedge knight, for lack of a better term? And my internal headcanon was that what I had given up was my voice. And so it's like when we're out on an incursion, I can speak, but when we're here, I can't.
Okay.
So what I would like to try and do is just say a few words and see if my voice comes out. Basically, if I can say words, we're on the wrong side of the hedge. And I think that's actually what I'll try to say is I'll try and say we're beyond the hedge and see if anybody hears it.
You hear Knight's voice ring out clearly in this space.
Do we know that he?
I mean,
normally
you've
can't
never
speak?
heard me talk on this side of the hedge, or
We've
what
only,
appears to be this side
We've
of the
only
hedge.
heard him speak on the other side.
See, something's wrong. I don't. That fucking paper. I blame that bit of paper.
Again,
Blame the paper.
we're not home. If
Can I have the
if
bit of
it's
paper?
the paper, hand it over.
I'm just gonna stare at you. You can keep talking.
If it's the paper or if it's whatever you saw, whatever is mimicking the world and us, something is affecting us that we have to find a way back. If the door here was open, who's to say they've not gotten to our holdfast on the other side of the hedge.
Starless is going to start making his way to what would be his little tent lean-to bunker, call it what you will, and see if it looks like it should.
Yeah, it looks exactly like you left it earlier today when you set out with the crew. The first thing you notice, though, as soon as you turn your back to that piece of paper, you hear that whisper crawl up the back of your mind, and it's clearer this time, and you hear it in your voice. And it tells you, this is the truth.
I just kind of pause for a second and then keep going.
Okay. You don't hear it again?
And when I get there, I probably throw the blanket back and just start, tearing stuff apart, seeing what isn't right, because I feel like there's got to be something that doesn't match.
You go flinging everything up, and you out from under this, whatever it is you sleep on, as you go to pick it up, it is wet, damp through.
And the floor under it is wet?
It is, yes.
Is that water visibly coming from anywhere or going to anywhere?
You are now paying attention to it. You hadn't quite caught it before. It's always been this light moisture, this bit of damp that's always on the floor, on the walls, that's to be expected here. Now that you are noticing it, it is quickly rising.
And it looks like it's coming down the walls.
It looks like it's coming up from the floor. Slowly, but noticeably.
Do we know of any lower levels of this complex than the one we're on?
I mean, you are all aware of the metro station, the metro system that runs under this entire city. It's been abandoned for as long as any of you can remember. Nobody goes down there.
But we would know how to.
I would imagine you could probably open up an area to it pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm going to start heading towards one of the passages down.
Okay.
I believe at this point I'm kind of ushering the other two to follow the knight.
Okay, is everybody following?
Mm.
Mm.
She's staring at it to see if there's anything different from the first time. She's hyper focused that the bit of paper is the catalyst.
Okay. Ember, as you're looking it over, there is one line that you read over and over and over and over, and you realize that this line was not originally on this letter. What is it? Why does it make you afraid?
Trying to think of words and something. I couldn't say it honestly.
It's okay. And in fact, it might not even be the words of it that speak to you. It's the tone of it, the cadence of it. It's somewhere familiar. And it just tugs at that fear in the pit of your stomach for seemingly no reason. But you do notice the rest of your companions. Where are we headed?
I believe we're going down.
I'm going down, yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think that the torch is really kind of dragging his feet. Like, does not want to be in the middle. Does not like feeling constrained, especially when going into tunnels and stairwells. So he's passively fighting the Bastion in the rear of who is going to be the slowest while he's being herded towards this area. And so he's like stopping and he's analyzing each little section of wall that he goes by. He's like, oh, this is trying to pretend like he's, engaged in intense investigation when really he's just trying to hope that the Bastion will step past him and he can have space to breathe.
Every stop, there's a few seconds of the Bastion like seeing if he can figure out what he's looking at, realizing like it's a wall and kind of just nudging, almost like a sheepdog biting at your heels, just kind of nudging you forward and at the same time keeping an eye on the stairs above us, kind of walking half backwards.
I worry that with this level of duplication that our actual holdfast is compromised now. I don't know that there would be. Of course, who knows what the Fae can do in the trueness of their power, but to have such an exact figment of the space that we normally reside in makes me believe that they have been there in the flesh.
If it gives you any comfort, I believe that they are not playing off of their knowledge of our location, but are instead working in our minds against us.
That does not make me feel any better, Bastion.
And yeah, it's just kind of elbowing you down the stairs.
We have found the cat herder of the group.
Yep.
I think I think at that point, after he's forced, then he immediately just starts walking down, and is then at the point of where he's trying to outpace the night. It's like, fine, if I can't be in the back, then I'll be in the front. I don't, I don't, I don't want to be here in the middle. Not be trapped.
All right, you start heading for the tunnels to this metro station, and there is no one, not a soul, not a light, not a footstep, not even a flicker of a screen. It's like everything has paused. The water that has been constantly on the ground, you notice, is following your footsteps at a slight incline. And Bastion, as you keep your head on a swivel looking back behind you, there is a presence. Not a physical one, nothing that you can directly lay your eyes on, but a amorphous sort of shadow that seems to dart from corner to corner behind you, and you occasionally swear you can hear a footstep in the gathering water. And as the air grows heavier, you press deeper into these tunnels, the walls slick with moisture. There's no noise here, no hum of machinery, no murmur of life, only faint splashing of your steps in the shallow water, maybe the occasional groan of shifting soaked through cement. The tunnels twist ahead, once pristine surfaces warped, cracked, and the tiles faded. Water laps gently against the edges, and though you can feel the weight of the damp pressing around you, something about the stillness is wrong. Like the silence is waiting for something. And the deeper you go, the more the water rises, submerging the lower parts of the walls. The faint glow of what few overhead lights there are flicker as shadows stretch across the path ahead. It's hard to tell where the water ends and where the darkness begins. Are we pressing forward?
So it's two birds, one stone sort of thing, right? She's just going to consistently
it.
try and burn this letter, but like hold the flame within her hand as she holds half of the letter, but also use it to emit the light around them so they can see a bit better. Just like, her eyes have pretty much been on the paper the entire time. I can imagine that the Bastions had to like push her along now and then to make her keep up.
The way that I am envisioning this at this point, now that the torch has gone, is effectively the Bastion is walking backwards, almost back to back with you. Now that he's swears he's seen something, that he's just walking, like, kind of just pushing you back like that.
Yeah, the constant pressure keeps her walking.
Ember, every time your flame flickers into this sickly green around this mass of paper, there is a flash of memory of something before you became the Ember Heart. Flash after flash after flash after flash, never enough to put together the entire memory. But what are those flashes that you're seeing?
Flashes of blurred out faces of those that she had cared about, so friends and family. It's like when you have an old picture and you've taken a picture of it on an old camera, so everything's out of focus and blurry, and then sent it to a program to blur everything again.
Oh, it's just smeared face after face after face after face through your memory that you're not quite placing. The two are connected. You all push forward into the tunnels?
I believe so.
Mhm.
I am
I'm
going
not paying
to.
attention.
I am going to make a. If we're pausing for a second, just make
Sure.
a call to the knight, and just go. Keep your ears and eyes peeled. There is something here with us, though I can't place where it is.
Just kind of nod. Hold the lantern up higher. Keep pressing on.
The deeper you go, the more odd this place seems to become. The water becomes so dark that it seems almost like a oil slick as it begins to rise up your calves, beginning to reach your knees as you push forward. The old graffiti on the walls of this subway station twisting and turning into sickly green runes of some sort scrawled across the wall. A creeping black and purple bioluminescent fungus crawls upwards. And there's a flash, a sudden burst of movement. You feel something slither past your legs. And there's a spray of water somewhere ahead of you. And it falls too quiet. And you hear the rush of water making its way down the tunnel for you. What'd you like to
Away
do?
from us or toward
Towards
us?
you.
Toward us.
And I don't see any of it in the lantern light yet.
Not yet. It is
I think-
gaining volume rapidly.
I think the Bastion at that point will rush, almost like too quickly, almost pushing the Ember over to shove himself in front to take the brunt of whatever's coming at us.
Ember would sort of lose her focus on trying to burn this paper and stumble and have to catch herself on one of the walls to get her footing back.
Yeah, Starless is just kind of crouched down, ready to jump, and he's got this knife in his other hand, and he's just kind of trailing the tip of the knife back and forth in the water, as if almost daring something to come at him.
Yeah, I think the torch, in one of the being more true to his name, I think really starting to feel how far on the other side they are right now. I think that he actually sends some of his vines up the side of the wall, kind of makes a lattice on the side of the wall, spread out, tries as hard as he can to not let thorns sprout out on them, but he can never keep all of them out. It's just an unfortunate part of it. And he just crawls up the side of the wall, and then you see the seam on his forehead splits open, and that yellow gem protrudes out and starts shining a light directed in the direction that he's looking down the hall.
Between your light from your gem and the torch from Starless, you manage to get just enough of a glow in front of you to hear that roar coming rapidly down the tunnel at you. You all have one moment to look up and see the face in the foam of the wave that's bearing down on you as it slams into your forms, pushing all of you down the tunnel. I think that's a good place, you guys. Let's
Of course you do!
We're coming back. I promise. Hey, we made it back, you guys. I love it. I love ending on a cliffhanger. It makes me super happy.
None of us like it quite as much.
You'll learn to love it.
You'll love it and you'll like it.
You'll like it. You'll thank me for it later. Anyway, oh gosh, that was so much fun. Let's do a quick little stars and wishes, shall we? Let's. Who wants to go first? Do
Who
I
would like
pick
to go
somebody?
first?
Yes, do it.
I will go first. I would like to shout out the very quick thinking and world building of our knight
Yeah.
this game. The pulling
Very
in
good, so good.
the headcanon backstory into the game is
That's what it's for.
very nice. I like to see it.
It's been boiling back there for a while, so I'm glad
It's good.
it synced
I like
up.
it.
I love it. Yeah, it worked out very well. What about your wishes?
I'm trying to think what you could give me that you already haven't.
A benevolent
game.
GM.
I hope, or my wishes for this is that now that we know our abilities going into this next fight, and we've, as players, not as characters, learned what abilities each other have, we can combo off of each other a little better. The Torch and I already having somewhat of a plan for the next fight.
I love that. Throw
I don't know
ours
why you're
together.
assuming there's going to be a fight here.
Oh, fine.
I mean,
We're just
there's-
going to
It's
drown.
only a war zone.
Lizzie wouldn't give us a fight immediately into next session.
No,
That's
I
all.
would
No.
never, not ever launch into a session with a fight. Of course not. Oh, thank you, Nathaniel. Let's see, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Yay!
Stars, I mean, all around, I love the way that everybody, even with kind of just some minimalist stuff, made clear who all their characters are, even if it's just the way you move or the things you do, or like me, not saying anything. We don't need a lot, but it's clear that we've all thought about who these people are. But the real shout out I want to give is to your descriptions, Lizzie. Every time you get me, like there was a line in the opening thing where you were talking about the silence that you get when the world is too tired to scream, and I wrote that down because I'm going to steal that. So I
Thank you,
really
thank you.
I really enjoy the way you set the stage
You're
here.
too kind.
And then as far as wishes, I want to figure out what is behind this letter and fuck it up.
Yay! Me too. I thank you so much, my friend. Who's next? Alex, I got.
I'll
Mushy.
go.
Yes.
I think my star. Likewise, I enjoyed seeing the development and the expression of each individual on the private life side
Yeah.
of things. And super excited to continue exploring all those avenues. But I think tonight, my star is going to go to Mushy for just I really enjoyed the level of
Destroy it.
panic and emotional distress that little piece
Yes.
of paper caused.
That was great.
I'll
I
have a
love that.
proper piece of paper next time.
Mhm.
Viciously shake.
Excellent. Any wishes for me?
Uh,
I can give you things.
I mean, no, because all of our our downtime dice rolls were pretty good.
That was
so
pretty
I'm
good. Because that's some good
um,
rolls.
not in panic mode yet, but I'm
Yet is the operative
looking
word.
yes, absolutely.
Oh, she'll
And I
find a
hope
way
we-
to make us
I
panic.
hope we get to some more existential dread.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of existential dread. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to bring into a game. Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Mushy.
bit of paper. The dog
That's
agrees with
funny.
me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
Or he's
always
angry at
cracks me
paper.
up when like one thing and people like latch onto it. I'm like, now that's important. Like
Yeah,
throw
yeah.
stuff out and whatever you guys like, that's the important parts.
The dog is good in agreement tonight.
I'm sorry. Neighbors have people over. They don't like it.
I half I wish you would stop blue balling us with like going, oh, we'll see like what happens next time, and I accidentally press buttons and what is
No.
Oh no. I thought it was me for a
Uh-oh.
moment.
No.
No, right at the end. We were doing so good. Let's see if we can
Damn
get
you,
him back
Europe.
really quickly. Damn you, Europe. Crazy internet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that is. Oh.
okay.
Hey,
That's
just in time.
on my keyboard
Oh.
because my TV went. I'm going to turn off if you don't press a button in a second. Dramatic. Yeah, but also at the same time, it always makes me enjoy for the future sessions
Yep.
and
Love
I
a
don't know what
cliffhanger.
paper holds. You have to come up with something, but that piece of paper I'm going to focus on. And
It's
I
important
also
now.
also love like how well and cohesive the group is, even though it's only our second session playing these characters together, and I can't wait for what the future will hold.
Like a month apart too. It's
I
impressive
know.
that we're
Yeah,
able to
let's
keep
not
ourselves
try
together.
to go a month this time. Let's see if
Yeah.
life will be kind and allow us to get back together very soon. So, guys, this was awesome, and I always appreciate you all playing my silly little games. So, let's do some quick plugs, I guess. Yes, let's do that. Brian, where can I find you elsewhere?
Gosh, well, let's see. I do
Everywhere?
a lot of a fair amount of role playing stuff over on Third Floor Wars, which is sort of a sister channel at this point, I think, to maybe an older sister.
Older
Yeah,
cousin
and if
that we
if
hang
you
around.
just want to hear me ramble about things, I also co-host a monthly board game podcast called The Ascent of Board Games, like The Ascent of Man, only with board games. So if you want to hear more of my nonsense, you can do it there.
Excellent. Nathaniel?
I do not have an internet presence yet. I'm working on that, but don't have one. So you can find me in your kitchen at 3 a.m. with a bag of shredded cheese.
Nice.
I will look at 3 a.m. to see. That would be great.
Okay,
Alex.
so I'll see you here in like 40 minutes.
Fair.
That's
Yeah.
going to take a lot of effort to get across the ocean that quickly. So, best of luck. Oh, Alex, you're in everything over here.
Yeah, there's a lot, I guess, of things that are easily visible. We got Rookwood over on
Yes.
Foxtail Games.
Yes.
Whenever that's happening.
Whenever that's happening again.
Um,
But it's awesome, and you should listen to it.
yes, and more existential dread and non. There's also, I believe, next week will be the inaugural stream of our new Spelljammer campaign.
Yeah.
So that will be going. We have had 2 session zeros, and
Yep.
we are rocking and rolling, and it is going to be a lot of fun and
I
very,
think so too.
very entertaining in many, many different ways. We've already had lots of nice fun.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun. And you get to see us playing kind of chosen family over there too. So that's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yep.
Awesome.
And then what? And then and then this. And then
then
everything
this.
else is just
Yes.
on.
And then all the things we just play off stream as well.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. Awesome. Find Alex here all the time.
More than you want.
There's no such thing. Mushy, where else can we see you?
Well, you can find me here. And I know at some point I'm going to be pulled into probably another game on Third Floor Wars because
Because you
Craig.
luck.
You just
Yeah.
want, you're just
Um.
supposed to be everywhere,
Yeah.
on
You
everything,
can
all the time.
also, if you don't mind me plugging my commissions.
Oh,
Yeah.
come
So,
on.
I
What
have
those
some
portions for?
beautiful artwork, and I do relatively
type
cheap
screen.
prices, and I do it's about 2 weeks around. But at the moment, I've got a deal on the emojis that I offer.
Ah.
Currently, they're £5 each, or for the Americans, it's $7. And if you
We
buy
only
a
speak
few,
American money
well,
here.
I can always chuck in something extra. I will chuck in my website link so you can find all the information
Yeah.
there, the artwork examples, and you can reach me on Discord at Mushroom Art.
Yay.
Nice.
Mushy did the art for the intro screen to this fantastic game as well. Check out their amazing stuff. And yes, we do have a lot coming up. Monday, the 2nd, is the premiere of Curse of the House of Rookwood right here. Aww. And
can't wait.
then we've got Spelljammer on Friday, the 6th. And I think that's it for a little bit. We'll have this coming up again soon, too.
Feel pretty good.
Find our socials. You can see all of our things there. So, thank you guys.
Smash that like button.
Smash it, like and
And
subscribe.
don't forget to follow.
I don't know what you're supposed to do on these things, but do those things and watch us play some more. All right, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye, all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. As soon as I can find the right button again.
Come on. Break it down now. Break it down now.